Today, July 7th, is the most amazing day of your life. Angel says, they chose this day. Not randomly. Not by chance. But with the weight of heaven behind it. July 7th, a day written in gold, whispered among angels, and sealed with a blessing that your soul agreed to before your body even took its first breath. You are not here by coincidence. You are not seeing this by accident. Something holy has been aligned, and the Spirit is urgently pulling your heart closer, not just to a miracle, but to the very turning point of your destiny. Because what is about to unfold in your life is not small. It is not ordinary. It is a divine transaction from the unseen to the seen. A reward for what your heart survived, for the faith you carried quietly, and for the moments you gave even when no one gave back. Your name was spoken in the presence of divine beings. Yes, your name. While you were sleeping. While you were doubting. While you were trying to hold your life together, something above you was working behind the scenes. Something invisible began moving paperwork, shifting timelines, redirecting resources. The numbers may say $30 million, but the real value of what's being transferred to you can't be counted. It's not just money, it's restoration. It's dignity. It's proof that God did not forget what was taken from you. Every delay, every silent prayer, every loss, it wasn't in vain. It was preparation. And now, the heavens are answering. Loudly. The angels have been circling this moment for days. There is celebration where you cannot yet hear it. The sounds of rejoicing, of final approvals, of spiritual contracts being sealed. And all they've been waiting for is your alignment. Not perfection. Not performance. Just your open heart. Just your willingness to say, yes, I receive. Just your courage to believe again after so many disappointments. Because this blessing is not coming because you earned it. It's coming because you endured it. Because you didn't give up when you easily could have. And heaven noticed. There is someone who was once assigned to hurt you, and they did. But they didn't know that in hurting you, they positioned you. They pushed you into the hands of angels. They triggered a timeline you would have never stepped into on your own. And now the divine is using even that pain as evidence of how unstoppable you truly are. The more they tried to block you, the louder heaven began to whisper your name in circles of light. And now, on July 7th, they will witness what happens when someone protected by the spirit realm gets rewarded publicly. Your spirit has been heavy, not because you're weak, but because your destiny is enormous. And all that weight you've been carrying, it's not yours anymore. The shift begins now. Even as you read this. Even as your heart beats faster. This is not a fantasy. This is prophecy. Your life is stepping into divine acceleration. Your name is echoing in rooms you've never entered. A decision has been made in your favor, and the result is abundance, in joy, in peace, in wealth, in love. And the angels say, "We've waited long enough. This child has suffered long enough. Let the windows of heaven open. Let the reward be poured. Let their soul finally rest in the truth that they were always seen." So if you're reading this on July 7th, you are right on time. Don't shrink. Don't second guess. Don't delay. Say it now, "I receive what was meant for me." And watch as the Spirit honors your surrender with supernatural speed. What's coming has been scheduled long before your bank account ran low. Long before your tears dried on the pillow. Long before you begged for help. And now, it's here. They say wealth is counted in numbers. But heaven knows better. Heaven counts wealth in strength, in mercy, in how many times your heart still opened even when it was breaking. And that's why this message isn't just about a number, it's about restoration. The number, $30 million, is just the surface of what's been growing beneath the soil of your soul. This is about spiritual compensation. For everything you had to carry silently. For every time someone took more than they gave. For every time your heart broke but your faith didn't. The angels are speaking now because this moment, July 7th, is not another ordinary day. It is a divine appointment with everything the enemy tried to delay. You were never forgotten. That season where you felt invisible, when no one called, when nothing changed, when you began to question if heaven even remembered your name, that season was not abandonment. It was alignment. You had to be hidden so the wrong people couldn't see your worth too soon. You had to be protected so the enemy couldn't steal what was still growing. You were covered not because you were small, but because your destiny was too valuable to be exposed prematurely. And now, the covering is lifting. The divine is revealing. The angels are unlocking. And you, beloved, are rising. What they never told you was this: your blessing was never stolen, it was stored. Every no you faced did not cancel the promise, it only delayed it for your protection. And now that the soil has shifted, now that your roots have reached deep enough, the heavens are ready to release the harvest. And this time, it won't be fragile. This time, it won't slip away. This time, no one can sabotage what God has already signed. This miracle carries your spiritual fingerprint, only you can receive it. And the angels are already standing at the door of your life, carrying the proof. You may be wondering, why me? Why now? Because the very pain you went through was prophetic. It carved you. It softened you. It made you more real, more kind, more sensitive to heaven's voice. That's why you're seeing this. Because your spirit knows something is shifting. Because the same pain that tried to crush you actually cleared the path for this miracle to arrive. You've become a vessel that heaven trusts, and that trust is turning into treasure. Not just treasure in your hands, but peace in your soul, clarity in your mind, joy in your mornings, and yes, abundance in your account. Do not shrink when the blessing knocks. You don't have to explain why you're chosen. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be perfect, just present. Present in the miracle. Present in the moment. Present in the truth that this is your turn. The angels are not asking you to fight anymore. They're asking you to receive. Not with fear. Not with guilt. But with open arms and open spirit. Because everything you lost, it's coming back. Multiplied. Purified. Glorified. This isn't just money. This is divine reversal. The favor you deserved. The respect you were denied. The recognition you kept praying for in silence. This is everything you never got an apology for, coming back not as pain, but as power. And they want you to know, we saw every night you cried. We saw every time you stayed kind when they were cruel. We saw every seed you sowed in faith. And this blessing? It's the answer to them all. Say this now, if you feel it in your chest, I receive divine release. I receive heaven's inheritance. I receive what was meant for me, and I claim it with gratitude. July 7th is not just a day on a calendar, it's the day your old story ends. The day heaven's record of your suffering turns into a public testimony. And those who once looked down on you will be stunned by how high you rise, not by force, but by favor. They're not just sending a blessing to you. They're sending it through you. Because what is arriving on this 7th of July is not only the beginning of your miracle, it is the ending of every silent battle your bloodline has carried for years. This is not about one person being favored. This is about a family being freed. A legacy being healed. A spiritual curse being broken without noise, without drama, but with grace. Your obedience, your tears, your perseverance, your spiritual sensitivity, it has all added up to this moment, and heaven is choosing you as the vessel to release something generational. You are the turning point they prayed for. You are the answered prayer of someone who cried in silence years ago, not knowing how, not knowing when, only knowing that one day, someone would rise and carry the family forward with light instead of pain, peace instead of war, love instead of shame. You may have felt lonely all this time, but you were never empty. You were carrying something sacred. A spiritual pregnancy. A seed of divine reversal. That's why things took so long. That's why the weight was so heavy. That's why nothing small satisfied your soul, because you were never meant for the ordinary. The $30 million may look like wealth, but it is actually heaven's coded reward system. It is wrapped in zeros but birthed in obedience. It looks like favor, but it is fulfillment. Every dollar assigned to you now carries instructions. To restore what was lost. To build what was delayed. To nurture what was broken. To unlock the dreams that were once buried under responsibility and trauma. And the best part? It's not even just about money, it's about memory. Because once this blessing arrives, your family will never forget what you did. The angels will whisper your name with joy. And heaven will record that on this date, the story shifted. Do not downplay this. This isn't luck. This isn't just timing. This is divine engineering. The moment has been architected in the spiritual before it ever touched the natural. There are people alive today, and even some no longer here, who are smiling in the realm of spirit because they see what is unfolding for you. Someone on the other side is celebrating because they carried pain so you wouldn't have to. And now, as heaven rewrites your chapter, it rewrites theirs too. Their suffering was not wasted. Their struggles were not invisible. Because you made it. Because you waited. Because you stayed open to light when darkness surrounded you. This financial breakthrough is holy. It is not a prize. It is a purpose. It will open doors, but more importantly, it will close old wounds. It will not change who you are, it will reveal who you always were. The kind one. The soft one. The fighter with grace. The dreamer with tears. The believer who had every reason to quit, but somehow kept going anyway. And now? It's your time. Heaven has prepared a place for you where everything is aligned. You won't have to force anything. The right people will find you. The right opportunities will flow to you. The doors you once begged to open will open on their own, not because you chased, but because you chose peace. The blessing is coming because you trusted in silence. Because you stayed honest when no one saw. Because even when you were at your lowest, you still prayed for others. That kind of soul doesn't go unnoticed in the kingdom. And so, they're giving this to you. Not as a bribe. Not as a surprise. But as a covenant. A sacred agreement between your soul and the divine, that you will not let this blessing end with you. That you will spread it. Heal with it. Give through it. Build with it. Honor the ones who came before you with it. And change the ones who come after you through it. Your name will no longer be remembered for what it lacked, but for what it unlocked. Say it softly if you feel it in your chest, I receive this inheritance with humility. Not just for me, but for those before me, beside me, and after me. Let it begin through me. Because today, July 7th, heaven is not just giving you $30 million. Heaven is giving you permission to change everything. Before you ever breathed your first breath, before your name was whispered in the air by human tongues, it was written in a higher place. A scroll was opened. Angels stood in stillness as a golden quill moved across sacred light. And beside your name, they didn't write ordinary. They didn't write forgotten. They didn't write unworthy. No, beloved, beside your name, heaven wrote, chosen. Keeper of wealth. Guardian of healing. Carrier of reversal. That writing still glows today. Even after all the detours, even after all the times you questioned your value, even after the years of delay and grief, that scroll was never changed. It has been waiting for this day. For July 7th. For this sacred moment when you would finally be ready to see what heaven has always known about you. That's why it had to take time. You had to grow into what was written. You had to learn what silence feels like, what betrayal tastes like, what waiting can do to a soul. Because what you're about to hold, this blessing, this $30 million, this divine elevation, it can only rest in hands that have been broken and rebuilt by faith. This is not a prize. This is a scroll being fulfilled. This is the chapter they wrote about you coming alive in real time. What was once ink is now becoming income. What was once spiritual promise is now becoming physical provision. You are not hoping anymore. You are harvesting. And those angels? The ones who carried your name from room to room in the kingdom, the ones who stood beside you while you cried into your pillow, the ones who saw how you gave even when you had nothing left? They are still with you. Not as visitors. Not as spectators. But as partners in this release. They are holding doors open now. They are moving things into your life that no human hand could have organized. They are whispering your name into ears of decision makers, lawyers, leaders, financial stewards, people you haven't even met yet, but whose hearts are being pulled toward blessing you. This is how heaven works. Quietly. Strategically. Supernaturally. You thought it would come through hustle. Through force. Through endless striving. But no, it comes through stillness. Through surrender. Through simply being who God made you to be. Your softness wasn't a weakness. Your silence wasn't an absence. Your delays weren't denial, they were preparation. Heaven doesn't just give to anyone. Heaven trusts. And now, they trust you. With legacy. With healing. With impact. With divine wealth that was stored for such a time as this. You must understand this, deeply in your bones. You're not receiving this money because you need it. You're receiving it because you've become it. You've become the kind of soul that carries wealth not just in hand, but in spirit. The kind of soul that knows how to multiply, how to bless, how to lift others without losing yourself. You've been chosen to reintroduce what abundance looks like when it's in the hands of someone anointed. And that's why July 7th was selected before you ever knew what day it was. It was carved into the divine calendar with the ink of prophecy. And now, everything written is being revealed. One by one. The rejection now becomes direction. The heartbreak now becomes heartbeat for others. The loneliness now becomes divine placement. The empty pockets now become overflows. The late nights crying now become new mornings rejoicing. There is no force that can cancel what heaven has confirmed. No voice louder than the one who wrote your name in the scrolls. No delay long enough to erase what is destined. That $30 million has already passed through realms of resistance. It's cleared spiritual customs. It's left the heavenly vault. And now it moves toward you. Say it gently with tears if they rise. I am who heaven said I was. I am worthy of the scroll. I accept the fulfillment of the divine writing over my life. This is not the beginning. This is the unveiling. This is the moment where prophecy touches earth. This is the hour where your name becomes testimony. This is the fulfillment of what was promised, and nothing will stop it now. You are no longer walking as the version of you that once begged for answers. You are no longer pleading with the sky, wondering when it will all shift. You are now standing in a sacred alignment that pulls blessings toward you without effort, without explanation, without fear. On this day, July 7th, your presence has become a divine magnet. Not because of how loud your voice was, but because of how consistent your heart stayed when no one was clapping. What you carry now cannot be denied. You've become the living evidence that quiet souls can inherit loud miracles. You've become a portal through which heaven flows into the earth. And the blessing that is being sent to you, the $30 million, is simply a reflection of the shift that already took place within you. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And now you are someone who has been tested by time, refined by pain, awakened by stillness, and elevated by faith. You are someone whose heart has been shattered and rebuilt by light. Someone who stayed soft in a world that wanted to harden you. Someone who loved without applause, gave without conditions, and believed when belief was the last thing you could afford. That's why this moment is yours. That's why the angels chose today to whisper this into your life. Because your frequency now matches the frequency of favor. Your spirit hums at the same rhythm as heaven's windows. And you no longer need to chase what has already been assigned to your name. This isn't magic. It's design. It's orchestration. It's the unfolding of a divine system that doesn't operate by numbers or noise but by inner alignment. And now that your soul has surrendered to its assignment, everything that was meant for you, every dollar, every opportunity, every connection, every open door, every spiritual treasure, is being drawn in. You're not chasing the blessing. The blessing is chasing you. Because your vibration has reached a level that cannot be overlooked. Because your purity has earned its own currency in the divine realm. And heaven knows how to reward those who kept believing when silence was the only response they received. This $30 million is not coming as a surprise. It is coming as recognition. Recognition of your alignment. Recognition of your faith. Recognition of your unseen labor. You're not being rewarded because you performed. You're being rewarded because you remembered who you are. Because you didn't let loss make you bitter. Because you didn't let delay cancel your vision. Because even in moments where you were ready to give up, something in you whispered, just one more step. And that one step led you here, to this scroll, to this prophecy, to this divine financial release that was waiting for you to arrive in spirit before it arrived in form. And now that you're here, everything responds. Even the earth will begin to move differently under your feet. Strangers will offer you favor without knowing why. Situations will align in perfect rhythm. Your steps will be ordered with such grace that you'll look back and realize, it was never your planning, it was always your positioning. You're not just in the right place, you are the right place. Your life has become holy ground. Your presence is now a prophecy fulfilled. Speak this now, not as hope, but as truth. I don't chase. I attract. I don't beg. I receive. What is mine, finds me. And I am now the frequency of favor. This moment isn't about money. It's about mastery. Mastery over your emotions. Mastery over your doubt. Mastery over the lies you were told about your worth. And now that you've reclaimed that power, heaven has no choice but to answer. The flow cannot be stopped. The delivery has already begun. The light is no longer just above you, it is within you. On this day, July 7th, heaven declares, you are the miracle you were waiting for.